evidente este gozo.
Last night, so yeah, you know, and that happens. I've seen that happen sometimes. So good. Quickly, I just want to tell you that, you know, sometimes I bring school groups in the spring that come in out to Statue of Liberty. Middle school, like 14, 15-year-olds, pray for me. Just 1 second till we get everybody. What you're looking at is the footprint of tower number 2, which was also known as the South Tower. Catty corner in the far corner over there is the footprint of tower number 1, which was also known as the North Tower. I know the facts of that morning are hard to hear, but building them and some of the surrounding firehouses from these guys. You know, I know firefighters. Is there that we will always remember, and then all this new stuff had to pop up and come along because it had to move forward as well too. So yeah, I just wanted to address that if that was feeling a little strange to you. We're going to pass the Oculus now up close. It'll be on our left hand side here in just a moment. Here it is coming up now on the left, and inside it feels like a big spaceship that you're about to take off in. I wanted to just talk briefly about the architect and why the building, why he made it look like this. His name is Santiago Calatrava. He's done buildings all over the world. He has somewhat of a signature look, but he said the reason the Oculus looks like this is because he was down here for one of the 9/11 ceremonies. Every year they read off all the names. He said, that's what I want the building to look like. So I think that's kind of beautiful imagery that, that he chose that. So, her husband Jay-Z, they have their New York apartment in Tribeca down here. Taylor Swift, you know, not that she's so much on my radar, but I thought this was an interesting New York story. He had a restaurant down, but he still has a restaurant down here called the Tribeca Grill. And Jose, this follows straight on up. It'll go right into 6th Avenue there. Yeah, the Tribeca Grill's still going strong. It was even open before 9/11 happened. But then after 9/11, in order to bring some life and some energy into this neighborhood again, he started a film festival, which you probably heard of, the Tribeca Film Festival. Do I turn left? Right? No, left. No. It's a, yeah. It's a, of course, thing we know, Fide-Eye. But some of the names are interesting and some of them are funny. Times Square's further up. We're heading up that way now. Yeah. And but this is my favorite neighborhood acronym of them all. I think it was a city planner who loved Walt Disney movies. You can live in Dumbo. It stands for Down Under Manhattan Bridge Overpass. Dumbo. Not many people came down here. However, what happened was, as the factory started moving out, it was not zoned for residential living at the time. So a lot of artists started pouring into these buildings and setting up art galleries in the old abandoned factories. A lot of the artists started living in them as well, too. 14th Street that we're going to cross now. And east to west, 14th Street is the widest street. It is the whole 2.5 miles I mentioned earlier of the island. So this is as wide as the island gets. Is 14th Street from one end to the other. As we cross 14th Street now, we leave the West Village behind, and the neighborhood we're morphing into now is known as Chelsea. And The Times Square district, where we're headed as well too, has always traditionally been known as Hell's Kitchen. Side, and this is where they do the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade that gets televised each year. You know, and the Broadway shows perform there in front of Macy's. The Santa Claus heralds the new season coming in. They have 9 jail cells. They can put you in Macy's jail until the police come, and then they deal with you. Hilarious, right? Yeah. Skating in there. However, how many people will be traveling with their ice skates? $25 to rent ice skates. Therefore, there's your free ice skating in there. And in the summer months, they set up a big screen in there, and they show old, like, the movies on Turner Classics, like the Fred Astaire movies and all that. And you can bring a bottle of wine and a picnic. And so this entire block, all the way down to Fifth Avenue on the next end, is all lined with jewelry stores. And it's old school, like it's closed on the weekends, but old school in the weekdays, they'll stand out there. They're like the pizza guys I did. No, don't go to him, come to me, I'll give you the better deal over here, like all of that. So I think that's very funny. We're gonna make the right. We're gonna go slow for you when we get past this booth. Yeah, if you look straight above the booth there, well, now that woman just got in my way. This sea of humanity. As I said, this was a very dangerous place. Not so much anymore. Any city, you need a little awareness. And you're wondering, how can that be? But it is all box office. It's money. So 499 seats or less, you're an off-Broadway house. 500 seats or more, you're a Broadway house. And that's how they determine it. And we'll make the right turn up 8th. Thank you. And as I said, you were taking your life in your hands, generally speaking, back in the day. But I said to, who was I saying to, that nowadays I would be hard-pressed, you guys, right? To say a dangerous neighborhood, really, in New York City anymore. It has changed that drastically. I know this neighborhood's gritty. It's still gritty, but and it's very much in flux. You can still see these old tenement buildings here. Great. Here we have... this is Worldwide Plaza here on the left-hand side. I was talking about Madison Square Garden, and I love that they respected both, Fine to bring in your glass tower, but even better to save this beautiful older architecture. So this is Columbus Circle. Over here on the left, this is a little bit of Time Warner, a little corporate branding for you. The Time Warner Center, the 2 towers that stretch above it are residential towers. The actress Goldie Hawn, where's that black glass tower over there? The actress Carol Burnett had her apartment in there for many years. She moved out a few years ago. But, so we're going to ride ourselves. That's not the Trump Tower. Central Park now, that we're going to ride alongside here. So everything out of the left-hand side now. This is an oasis for those of us who live in New York City. This is 843 acres of land, smack in the middle of the island of Manhattan. And it stretches here from 59th Street all the way up to 110th Street, all the way from the west side over there at Central Park West over to the east side on 5th Avenue. A lot of people think Central Park was this natural phenomenon that they put a wall around, but actually no. It's one of our great works of art, actually. They knew where they were going to plant every tree. They knew where they were going to build each man-made lake, how each of the rocks would be blasted, and how they were going to create this. Their intense stress tests on the horses, and found out that they were not that stressed out. So the battle rages on. Yes, exactly. I thought, I almost thought that was a joke, but then there was a woman on one of my tours, she said, oh, my daughter is an animal psychologist. So this is a real thing. It really happens, yeah. Professional dog walker. The funny thing is I read about it in the New York Times, and the funny part was some of them were making a lot of money. They hooked up with these wealthy families on the Upper West Side or the Upper East Side here of Manhattan, and spending the day with the dogs, they were making a lot of money. Ways of getting around. You see the pedicab guys, these guys with the bicycle in the front, right? And you sit in the back. My suggestion as a New Yorker to you, avoid them, because they don't always tell you the price. And sometimes these guys are charging anywhere between $5 and $8 per minute. And who's controlling the speed on the bike at the front? There are horror stories of tourists who took, this will be charming, a little pedicab ride through the park, and then a $300 bill at the end. So Upper East Side of Manhattan, which is one of the most expensive zip codes in the country up there, it's old money. And when I say old money, I mean old money like the permanently blocked off here as a result of that. And let me tell you, that is intimidating to walk in and be greeted by men with machine guns, but it is for now the new normal in New York. So, question. Yes, exactly. That is their home base when they come here. This building right here, on the right-hand side, this is the main branch of the New York Public Library. The 2 lions parked out in front here. They are named Patience and Fortitude. They were named by the mayor of New York City at the time of the Great Depression in the 1930s. Okay, good. So blow her a kiss goodbye. Come back and see her sometime.